Hawk's Nest, my weekly show about things going on in the geek community. And it's a little different episodes. There's no specific news item I'm going to comment about, but rather it's about something that's sort of a general trend I've been noticing as far as movies go and people reacting to the movies, and that is the issue of remakes. And yeah, this is kind of in light of a couple of remake trailers that have come out recently. Like today, they just dropped the Beauty and the Beast trailer. And of course, last week there was that whole kerfuffle about Ghostbusters. You could see all my thoughts about that over here. And I don't know, like I think people have a very strong reaction to remakes, and it's understandable why. I think a very common reaction to the issue of remakes these days is there are way too many of them. They all suck, and I think it's a little more complicated than that right now. Like, are there more remakes these days? Yeah, I think that's without question. But at the same time, there is a lot of new original material being produced from in terms of film, and it feels like that's not getting a whole lot of play these days. You don't know. I mean, so many people. I go into places like Facebook, comicbook.com, and they comment about how everything is 90% remakes. There's a remake this, remake that. Everything is a remake, and I don't know. Did you guys see last year, like The Revenant? Did you see Spotlight? Did you see The Martian? I don't know, probably not, except maybe The Martian. Actually, The Martian did pretty well. But the point is, there are a lot of good movies out there that are not remakes, and they're original ideas. Maybe they're based on something else happened in real life or something like that, but they're not. They're certainly not remakes. And the idea that everything out there right now is a remake is, it's again, it's a little more complicated than that. But at the same time, I kind of get where they're coming from in the sense that the movies that aren't remakes, like the ones I mentioned before, other than Martian, the movies like Spotlight, movies like The Revenant, movies like Room, the fantastic movies, but they're not the kind of crowd pleasers that people really gravitate towards. And among those, there do seem to be a lot of things based on previous material. Now, of course, it's always been the case that there's always been adaptations of some sort. But these days, it does seem like specifically the remake is something that's kind of more in vogue. And I kind of understand why. It does seem to be a largely financial thing. Like there is, it makes more sense to go with something that has a bit more of a bankable audience, has more of an established audience, rather than risking a lot of money. Because these big budget movies right now are really expensive, and they're kind of going out on a limb right now making these films, and so they want to be as guaranteed of a profit as much as possible. So I get why they're making them. I guess my point in this video is like talking about the people who are always complaining about remaking this, remaking that. There is a very simple solution to all of this, and it's to vote with your wallet. If you don't want to see a remake, make sure it bombs. If you want to see more original material, go watch that. How many of the people who are complaining about remakes saw The Martian, saw, something this year like Hardcore Henry or The Nice Guys or things like that? When there is something cool, something new or original coming out, that's a good movie, that's not a remake of something else, go watch it. Don't just sit there and complain about the lack of new material, the lack of creativity in Hollywood, and just not do anything about it. Anyway, that's pretty much all I have for this week's Hawks. Until next time,